biosynthesis of urea. Now, in the synthesis of urea, it has to be understood at the level of 4 stages. Which are these 4 stages? In the first stage is what we call it transamination. In the second stage is oxidative deamination. So therefore, especially the oxidative deamination of glutamate, and the third stage is transport of ammonia, okay, from various locations. Ultimately it has to be transported to the location where a urea cycle occurs, which is the liver. And the fourth stage is the reactions of urea cycle. So these are the 4 stages at which we need to understand in the urea cycle. So let us pay attention to the transamination reaction first of all. So when we speak about the transamination reaction, remember that this is the first event in the degradation of amino acid, transamination. So, and it is also the last event in the synthesis of amino acid. So therefore, transamination has its own importance. So therefore, this is the first step in the degradation of amino acid and the last step in the synthesis of amino acid. So these transamination reactions are catalyzed by transaminases. So they are also called aminotransferases. We shall use the term transaminase. There are many types of transaminases, many types depending on the amino acid, several types of transaminases. So these are isoenzymes, transaminases. So what is important about transamination reaction is these are reversible reaction, and the delta G0 prime is almost 1. So therefore these are reversible reactions. And mostly these transamination reactions occur in muscles, and it is present in the cytoplasm as well as in the mitochondria of a cell. This transaminase is present. Now all amino acids can undergo transamination reaction except maybe lysine, threonine. Then there are a number of cyclic amino acids like proline, hydroxyproline. So these are the amino acids that cannot undergo transamination at an appreciable level. What exactly happens in a transamination reaction? In the basic logic is you have an L amino acid, then that reacts with an alpha keto acid. So you have the transamination reaction. As mentioned, it is a reversible step. So you will get, once you remove this amino group from here, you will get an alpha keto acid, and the amino group is added to this, you will get another L amino acid. So therefore, to have clarity, so therefore this has got an amino group, and this amino group is transferred to this keto acid, and therefore this becomes a new amino acid. So let us denote this one as amino acid number 1, this is keto acid number 1, and this becomes keto acid number 2 and amino acid number 2. In most of the cases, the alpha keto acid is nothing but alpha ketoglutaric acid. You know that through transamination, if amino group is transferred to alpha ketoglutaric acid, it becomes glutamate. Okay, L-glutamate. So therefore, alpha ketoglutaric acid becomes the nitrogen acceptor. Okay, it becomes the nitrogen acceptor, and this is the nitrogen dispenser. So this is to be noticed. One is alpha ketoglutaric acid is the most important nitrogen acceptor in the system, and L-glutamate becomes the most important nitrogen dispenser. So in reality, when you look at this reaction, you see that there is no net deamination reaction happening. So it is only, the main purpose seems to be collect every amino group in the form of L-glutamate. That seemed to be the underlying, the purpose of this transamination reaction. So this is the most important part that you need to remember about the transamination reaction. In order to simplify the entire transamination reaction, so it is already drawn on the board. So let us begin by looking at the transamination reaction starting from here. So this is the first step. You can see that the enzyme and the pyridoxal phosphate, which we have already seen, so it exists in the aldehyde form. So therefore it is pyridoxal aldehyde, pyridoxal phosphate. To that, the first substrate is binding. If the first substrate is an amino acid, okay, you can see that red color, the amino acid. So the amino acid that binds to the pyridoxal phosphate, you can see it forms a Schiff base. Then there is a rearrangement occurring here. So we'll write it here, a rearrangement. Okay, so a rearrangement occurs, and now it is getting ready to release the first product. So therefore you will see that the first product is released with the help of a molecule of water. So therefore the product which is released is a keto acid number 1. Okay, so the the product is released, that is a keto acid is released. Now after releasing, something happens to the enzyme. Look at the enzyme. The enzyme is modified. It is not the ordinary enzyme. The enzyme is modified, so we put a star here. So what is the modification? Amino group has been added to the pyridoxal phosphate. So it forms pyridoxamine phosphate. Once the enzyme is modified, it is ready to accept the next substrate. That is our keto acid. Okay, so this keto acid is now added. So it's a blue color, a keto acid is added. Now it is getting attached to the amino group of the pyridoxamine. Then again rearrangement occurs. So after the rearrangement, now it is in a position to release the new amino acid. So this amino group has been added to the incoming keto acid, and that is the product number 2. A new amino acid has been released. So therefore, effectively, you will see that what happens here, this we shall call it our first stage. Okay, this stage number 1. So what happens in the stage number 1 is it's a deamination reaction in stage number 1. Okay, so if you look at the reverse reaction, that is our stage number 2. In our stage number 2, what happens is an amination reaction. So therefore, this entire process that we have seen is involving a deamination as well as an amination. So therefore, what is the net reaction? Is our transamination. Okay, so the net reaction is transamination. This is how exactly the transamination reaction happens in tissues. Transaminases are an interesting group of enzymes. It has a prosthetic group which is known as pyridoxal phosphate. So you know that pyridoxal phosphate is a derivative of vitamin B6. So this becomes the coenzyme of transaminases. Now this pyridoxal phosphate becomes the carrier of the amino group. So what happens is pyridoxyl, so you look at the name, it is aldehyde. So you can see that it is the aldehyde group. It keeps changing from the aldehyde group into the amine group. So therefore, this pyridoxal phosphate, and this becomes pyridoxylamine. Pyridoxamine phosphate. Okay. So because the amino group is added. So this being as the coenzyme of transaminases, it will accept the amino group here. It becomes pyridoxamine phosphate. And later on, this amino group will be transferred to the next keto acid. Okay, so it is transferred to the keto acid, and so that keto acid becomes the amino acid. This is the basic reaction of transamination reaction.